So it's been a long 3 years since these have been released, and you might have heard me talk about them. You probably know that I own them, but I really haven't done a review on them. So why am I doing a review now? Well, one, I figured it's about time, and two, which is kind of a bigger point, I think I figured them out. This is my review of the Mastrop and Sennheiser HD6XX. Before we do that, this video is brought to you by me and serverbuilds.net. If you want to build your own home server and you want to take control of your data and you also don't want to break the bank doing it, check out serverbuilds.net and check out our forum, Discord, and everything that we've got going on. It's a great community. I like hanging out with you guys and I hope to see you there. Let's start with the physical aspects of this headphone. It's very well constructed. It's using a known design. The HD600 series has been around for a very long time. And according to my YouTube stats, probably longer than most of you have been on live, including myself. The HD600 series, again, has a very tried and true and tested design. It's very modular, although it might not look modular. It's very easy to get replacement parts for. So if you want to swap out parts, or if you want to take it apart, paint it, change colors. I know you've seen some people do that. There might be a very prolific yellow one floating around. Overall, physically, it's a very good design. And you're getting, again, the HD600 design, which is in the $300 range. And you're getting that for about $220 on normal price. Maybe a little bit less if it goes on sale. It's mostly plastic. It does have a metal headband piece here, the extension arms, the adjustment arms. Soft foam up in the top area, velour ear pads, and I'm sorry if the camera doesn't pick that up, but I'm doing my best here. They're fairly soft. The biggest thing with the velour ear pads is that they contribute to the Sennheiser sound and the sound of these headphones in particular. One thing I do want to note about these, if you have a melon for a head, like I do, they are going to be tight. And that's okay, because it does, again, contribute to the sound a little bit. It's not uncomfortable, but they are tight. And if you wear glasses, it might be an issue for you, but I do have a solution for that. So this is the setting that I wear them on, and putting them on, I mean, they sit very close to your ears, and normally, with a larger headphone, I would find a gap down here between sort of where my jawbone's at. I don't have that with these because of the oval cups. So if you want to take care of that tightness issue, what you need to do is store them on a yoga block. And what I have here is a 9 by 4 inch yoga block. This is 4 inches wide. You want the 4 inch wide one, not the 3 inch wide one. You can put them on here two ways. We've got the 4 inch way, which is a relatively normal storage position and location. You can also put them the other way, which I believe is 6 inches wide. And this is about the size of your head. So if you want to stretch them out, this is the way you put them on. And they will naturally stretch out over time. I don't really recommend sitting here and stretching them or taking the headband and stretching it, because again, this is plastic on the top. You could break it. You could bend the metal in a way that you won't be able to bend it back, because this is basically spring steel. It's bent this way to retain its shape. And so if you do bend it, you bend it too far, you're not going to be able to bend it back. I would recommend storing it on the headphone block so that it will naturally bend over time as you wear it more. Basically, when you store it like this, it just means that you're wearing it 24/7. It will just naturally loosen over time. And then once it gets to that point, stop storing it that way, store it the other way, so it just kind of sits naturally. As far as the paint goes, I've had this set for 2 years now, and they've held up extremely well. We have beautiful black grills here, and they have midnight blue paint, which is sort of Mastrop's thing, but it is very subtle, and I do like it. That's really all there is to say about these physically, other than I suppose you have dual headphone connectors on the bottom. So that means that you won't be able to use things like the V-Moto Boom Pro but you will be able to balance them, which is something I will talk about in a little bit here. As far as external modifications and anything that I've done to this headphone since I've owned it, the only thing that I've done is add a magnetic mod mic mount. I do use them for gaming, although they're not the best gaming headphones. I would say that they're more than adequate, and I do enjoy gaming in them. You're not going to buy these for competitive gaming. If you do want to sit down and game, you can do that. So, do you remember earlier how I said that I've kind of figured these out, and that's why I want to talk about them now? Well, here's what I mean by that. These need a lot of power, and for the most part, the sky's the limit as to how much power you can give them. The easiest way to get them power is to feed them with a balanced amplifier and a balanced DAC. What balanced does get you is the ability to push power. These need power. And you're going to say, okay, but my phone can drive them and I can hear sound and they get pretty loud. Right, they may get loud, but you're losing dynamics, or you don't have dynamics. And you'll hear what I mean when you plug these into a very powerful amplifier, and you'll understand. And I'm not trying to gatekeep anyone from owning these, but I do want to let you know that honestly the best way is to start looking at balanced cables, balanced amplifiers, and balanced DACs. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to give a very quick and dirty description of what balanced is. This is a single-ended cable. It has a tip, a ring, and a sleeve. TRS. So that means that you have a left channel, a right channel, and a ground. A balanced cable has 4 pins, whether it's on something like this or it's on an XLR jack. Oh, that's going to be trouble getting that to focus. There we go. 4 pins. So you have a left ground, and a right ground. Generally speaking, a unbalanced or single-ended DAC will push about 2 volts. A balanced DAC will push around 4 volts. And that allows your amplifier to push more power to your headphones. The very cool thing about these headphones, they're already set up for balanced connections. Here we have a Sennheiser stock balance cable. This is a cable that Sennheiser makes. This is 4-pin XLR. Now there's other types of balanced connections you can get, such as 4.4mm Pentacon or 2.5mm balanced. I also have one of those on the desk here. I'll show you in a second. It honestly doesn't matter which one you use because they will work so long as your amplifier supports it. At minimum for these headphones, I would recommend using something like the FIO K3. This is going to be at the lower end and it doesn't have a lot of power, but balanced, it does okay. This is kind of the entryway to starting to see how good these can sound. And it's only about $110. And like I said, it does have a native balanced output, and it's 2.5mm balanced. So here's a 2.5 cable. Here's a 2.5. Just a tiny little guy. And that plugs in onto the side of the K3 here. But as far as DACs go, this is the Geshelli Labs Enog 2 Pro. You notice it has single-ended RCA output as well as balanced output from XLR. That would feed into a amplifier such as the Loxg P20, which is a hybrid tube amplifier which has balanced connections on the rear. This amp really shines with balanced connections. Cable goes from here right into your headphones. And of course, last but not least, the THX789, which is on my desk and never leaves my desk. That's a Mastrop and THX collaboration. It is fantastic. It has all of the power that you could almost ever need, with exception of some very crazy headphones. It's a $400 amplifier only. It's a balanced amp, solid state, extremely clean, very, very low noise, very low distortion. These sound perfect on it. With amplifiers out of the way and power out of the way, how do these sound? Well, in a word, they sound very sweet. If you have never had a very nice set of headphones, the 6XX are definitely the way to go. They're very mid-range focused. They have some treble sparkle, not a whole lot. They don't have very wide soundstage, although they are open. The soundstage is about here, but the imaging is pretty spot on. So while they're not particularly wide, I don't really mind that so much. I like the way they sound and I like the way that they feel in my head. I've been wearing them for a good part of this review, and at this point they're just comfortable. I'm used to how they feel. I like that they're open, and I like the dynamics of them. They're very natural sounding. They're not overly bass boosted. They do hit some of the low notes, but if you're looking for that ultra deep, say sub 30 hertz, it's really not there. But to me that doesn't matter as much, because the way that everything else sounds, the mid-range is just perfect when you have them on an amplifier like the THX789. While they're not good at everything, they are good at a lot of things. I wouldn't necessarily recommend them for a starter headphone. I would say probably the HD58X are a little bit more accessible from that standpoint. You don't need a crazy amplifier with them. They don't sound quite the same as these though. Now, the bonus, if you buy these headphones from Massdrop, let's say today or Black Friday 2019, I mean, shoot, I can't believe it's been 3 years since these have come out. Like November 6th or 7th of 2016, these have been out. So here we are, November of 2019. I still like these. For a limited time, as much as Massdrop has them in stock, they're offering replacement pads with the purchase of your 6XX. From what I can tell, there's 4 pad options. There's a couple different leather ones. There's a hybrid one. I believe there's also a velour option. Check for yourself just to see what's available at the time. From what I can tell, the promotion is $40 off. So flat $40 off. They're normally $220. You're down to $180, and then you have up to $55 worth of pads, depending on which pads you pick, for free. These happen to be the velour and leather hybrid pads. I like these quite a bit. They do change the sound. Some of you, and I used to think this way too, the Sennheiser sound is a lot to do with the pads. And if you replace the pads on these, say you throw some cheap leather pads like Brainwaves or something like that on these, you're going to ruin the sound, which is mostly true. However, Deconi pads in this case, and I'm not sure what the Massdrop ones are, they're probably Deconi. If they're not, there might be a Massdrop collaboration with Deconi or another pad manufacturer. High quality pads that are well designed, like these are fenestrated on the inside. It's very hard to see on my camera, I'm sorry. So they're fenestrated on the inside, you have velour on the outside and leather on that, and then you have a nice memory foam here. Well designed pads that are designed for this headphone won't ruin the sound, they will change the sound though. With these pads, I get a little bit more bass extension and almost a smoother mid-range and cut down on the treble quite a bit. You're shifting the headphone from a mid and treble focused headphone down to a little bit more bass and cutting the treble down just a bit. Now, another option for pads are the Yaxi HD650 pads, which not many people know about. Yaxi sent me these, and here I have them on the HD58X. They don't look like much, but they're very thin leather with Alcantara on the inside and on the face. Let's see if I can do this here. So on the face, on the inside is Alcantara, on the outside is leather. And they do come with different foams on the inside. These are much thinner foams. And what these do is turn your headphone into a very V-shaped headphone. Because of the bass roll-off on the 6XX, it actually brings the bass up and elevates it slightly. And then you have that nice mid-range, and then it really doesn't touch the treble on the 6XX. These are my preferred pads. They are expensive. And they're not for everyone. I wouldn't say they're the most comfortable pads. They do look a little odd because of the way that they sit on here. They are for 6XX and 58X. But the Yaxi pads, they have a different take on comfort than the Deconi or the stock Sennheiser pads. The Deconi and stock Sennheisers are very plush and soft, and you say, oh wow, They just feel nice and they kind of conform to your head. The Yaxi Comfort is different. It's very precise and very roomy. So your ear will never touch the pad on the inside. There goes my cat. And it kind of just draws a circle around your ear and floats your ear in there. So you have this sort of space and cavern inside of the pad. It's a very different feeling. It's not uncomfortable by any means, but it's not for everyone. I, again, prefer these quite a bit. I've tried them on the 58X to 6XX, and I like them a lot. It makes me like these headphones even more because now I know I have all of these options. I have the options with the amplifiers, I have the options with the pads. I've found pads that don't make the headphones sound bad anymore. It used to be where you could only use the stock Sennheiser pads, but now these companies such as Dakoni or the Mastrop pads for the 6XX and 58X, or you have Yaxi, a Japanese company, they all sound good. They just sound different. I've done a lot of messing around with these headphones in the past 3 years. I've liked them so much. I bought the 58X immediately on release. And now that the price is going down again just for the Black Friday sale, I might have to buy another pair, especially with maybe a different set of pads I can play with. I know that I didn't talk about the sound a whole lot, and that's mostly because everyone else has talked about the sound, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about my experience with them, about changing the pads and what amplifiers I'm using, sort of things like that, because I think it's important. And if you buy these headphones just for use with your phone or something like that, you're not going to have a very good time. I wouldn't expect to just plug these into your laptop or a Nintendo Switch or something like that and have like just a fantastic blow yourself away sound. Whereas with the Elex, which are they're much more efficient, easier to drive, but they're also way more expensive. It's just something to consider with the 6XX in particular, especially because they are a little bit harder to drive. There's actually quite a few good amplifiers now that are cheap and high powered, such as the SMSL, I believe it's the M200. Correct me in the comments. It's their new THX balanced amp. I think it's only around $260, $280, something like that. Things are starting to get very affordable as far as power goes. Oh, and biggest one I forgot to mention until now, JDS Atom. It's only a single-ended amplifier, but dear God, that little thing can push a lot of power. It's $99, so you can use a somewhat standard DAC, maybe a topping D10 or whatever the shit DAC is, or you could use this too if you want. You don't need a special DAC for that because it's not balanced. The FIO K5 Pro actually puts out quite a lot of power single-ended, so you wouldn't need to go balance there. K5 Pro is a amp and a DAC in one, so that might be a good option for you there. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying go break the bank, get the 789, get the Enog 2 Pro and the Loxchi because tubes are cool. I'm just encouraging you to do your research, arm yourself with the knowledge, and I don't want you to be disappointed when you get this headphone because it's a great headphone that's worth considering. It's a great headphone that's worth owning. I would hate for you to be disappointed when you got it. I want you to love it as much as I do. That pretty much takes care of this review, and I'll see you guys next time.